Hey, sports fans, Greg Medford here. I just wanted to let you guys know about an event that's going up in Northern California. For those of you who live in the Sacramento area or are someplace, or maybe are traveling, going to be in Sacramento, after you've been in business for a while, you know, there's that old adage: you do 80% of the business with 20% of your clients, and in some ways, it's true. What you do find out is you find out over time, you kind of find out who's maybe not a loyalist, but who's kind of dedicated to what your mission is. They like your mission. They're dedicated to your product. They like your product. Maybe they like the way you follow through with your customers. And you have these relationships that pair up. Sometimes you get in relationships with folks and you think it's going to be a great fit, and it's not. And other times you get into a relationship with folks and you're not sure it's going to be a fit, and it ends up being awesome. And then other times you're like, I think this is going to be a great fit from the beginning. It ends up being 10 times better. And that's the case with EDC Specialties up in, Gold River there, California, just on the edge of Sacramento. Lindsay and I went up there a couple weeks ago for their NorCal knife meetup. It was a good time. Rob's doing something cool. For those of you who are into the ASK brand, who like our little kind of 100% American-made little multi-tool pocket knife. I've been carrying this thing for like a year now, and I just love it. I wanted to give you some heads up on this, and I think you're going to see these popping up around the country. So it's basically kind of a knife meetup, but it's around one kind of knife, and Jeff and I were just talking about things we might be able to do to promote these in the future, like maybe launch new tools at special ASK parties. But EDC Specialties is hosting a event Saturday, April 15th from 5 to 7 p.m. at Fort Rock Brewing Company in Rancho Cordova, which is about 10 minutes from EDC Specialties, where out in California, where you can get an up-close look at the ASK, American Service Knife, and how it's designed to work. You know, one of the things people don't understand about the knife is the cost is not just the knife. The cost is its capability of being modular. It's expensive to make things modular and function really well every day. Costs an airplane, a car costs this much, but make a car that flies, and it gets a little more pricey than just a car. If you just use a knife as a knife and you never ever change it, it's on the pricey end. It's on the high end. We know that. If you are the kind of person who kind of gets your tools modified, or you like to modify them a little bit, or you want some options, or you get bored and you like to change things up a little bit, or sometimes you like stuff to, you're a little OCD and you got I want it to match my other tool handles or whatever. It's got that kind of modular flexibility, which I think is not understood by everybody who just gets it and carries it. You know, part of its expense is how flexible it is. So EDC will have all 4 models. They're going to have custom handles, tools, and they'll have our new pit stop axles. For those of you who don't know, on the Dash 1 configuration, what would happen is the 6-gun pivot would be pressed all the way through from the back, and if you wanted to change your scales, you have to do a complete teardown on the knife. We went to what I call them the pit stop, because it's fast like a pit stop. It's 4 screws with a clocked pivot axle. Now that seems really normal to everybody. Like, why didn't you do it that way initially, Greg? Well, I was concerned mostly about strength, integrity, and getting all these sandwiches to hold together in a really solid feeling form. So I thought it would be best to have a fixed Chicago-style bolt with a fixed flat head that kind of squares everything up and stabilizes. But as it turns out, we've kind of made them so tight tolerance, they don't really need that. They work pretty perfectly without it. So we made some adaptation. We've adapted a little bit. And so now you have a kind of a 4-screw setup, so you can take the scales off really quickly. Or let's say you just want to change the blade and the blade's on the bottom side of the stack. All you have to do is take off the back of the stack. You don't have to work your way through down 6 layers to get to the blade. So they'll have all 4 models, custom handles, tools, pit stop axles. It's a $25 registration fee. Goes towards the purchase of any ASK knife or parts at the event, complimenting ASK tech mats and a T25 Torx bit. So you can get a little tool for your knife. You get a tech mat for if you're going to tinker on your knife. There's a small fee which goes towards the purchase, which is kind of a zero-sum gain. If you already have an Ask, stop by, check out what's new. He's going to have some new stuff. Got some new handles. Spots are limited. You can go to edcspecialties.com. You can also call them up and talk to Rob or Greg, and the number is 916-476-5094. Beer, snacks, and ASK. Will you have a good time? You shouldn't have to ask.